Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Welcome to I'm Talking Waffles. I'm your host, Ileana. So, this is the last episode of the year because I want to spend December just like chilling, not really doing like anything, to be honest. I just want to relax. I have my vacation coming up pretty soon, like for the holidays. So, I'm really pumped about that. And I don't really want to bring my, all of my recording equipment with me because I'm taking a plane. And yeah, there's like not enough room because I refuse to get those like gigantic bags where you have to wait for them to come down like the spinny thin and it takes like 175 years. So this will be the last episode of the year. Season 3 will begin in January. Check out my social media for like the date that is going to come out because I'm still uncertain at the moment when the episode will come out because it's all dependent on like when I come back and then if I'm able to record when I come back because everybody knows you get sick over the holidays. So I'm just like preparing for that. But for now, let's say like beginning of January. And yeah, just check out my social media during like the January time and then you'll have an exact date of when the new season will start. So this will be the last episode of the season. And what a better way to end off the season than to talk about the season of winter. And so I've had a couple episodes that I've done that I didn't even realize it's kind of a series at this point where I have like summer bucket list and fall bucket list. So this is kind of like a winter bucket list, but it's also some like tips and tricks to help you survive the winter. So without further ado, let's jump right into this week's episode. So if you're anything like me, then you definitely feel a little bit down and a little bit blue in the wintertime. It gets dark too fast, it's cold, and all of that. So what I've done is I've actually compiled a list in my journal about seeing winter in a new light. So I've divided it between the months of November, December to January, February, because November, December is significantly different than winter months in January, February. And so let's first talk about November and December, aka pre-January. So some things that you can look forward to now that the cold season has come is that it's the perfect time to cozy up and bundle up and wear like blankets or warm jammies or even just like nice socks. That's something I always look forward to. The pretty snow, honestly, like I don't like the snow, but I like looking at the snow. And so if you can kind of frame it looking at the snow, you're like, oh yeah, like the snow is really pretty. It looks really nice when it falls. Like even the frozen, like freezing rain stuff looks really good on top of like the tree branches and stuff. And then of course, going out to see the lights decorated like on people's houses or a lot of like towns or cities or whatnot, they have like a kind of a display of lights that usually like in a park that you can walk through. I always make sure I go through there because I love the lights. And then of course, like looking at the decorations. Some people are really creative when it comes to decorations. I was on my way to the dentist the other day and there's like this storage building business and every single year they do something very clever. So last year they had like the lights tinted like a red, and then all of the boxes on display had been wrapped like presents. And then this year they kept that, but they also put up this giant blow up of the Grinch on the roof of their building. And I was just like, oh, that's really neat. I like that. So really just appreciating like the decorations, the lights. This is all stuff for you're looking at winter in a new light, kind of like bucket list. Another thing is that this time of the year, pre-January, has so many yummy foods, like for like Christmas and all that. There's like gingerbread, there's peppermint, there's like cookies, there's hot chocolate. I love hot chocolate so much. And then if you're a coffee person, Starbucks and I'm sure like other coffee places have special seasonal drinks. And so that's something, obviously it's seasonal, so you get to look forward to it now that it's wintertime and it's warm and it's cozy. It's just the vibes are immaculate. Another thing that's really good about like the beginning of winter is that everything around you kind of slows down. The world slows down. It feels like even the people slow down. Like everything just slows down. And so it makes it a really good time for like reflection, or it's just like a nice quiet time to enjoy. It's really peaceful. Like going outside in the winter is such a different vibe than going outside in the summer. Summer is very like hustle and bustle. But wintertime, people are just like, there's not that many people out there. And honestly, I dig that. And if you love shopping like me, then this is the perfect season to go buy stuff. There's a lot of good deals, especially with like Black Friday and like holiday deals and like just being able to buy stuff for like your family and friends. I really like doing that. It's really fun. It's also really stressful, but this is kind of looking at the good stuff of winter. If I made a list of bad stuff of winter, this episode would be an hour, but that's not the point of this episode. The point of this episode is to actually find ways to like winter. And so shopping, even if it's not for friends or family, shopping, buying stuff for yourself. I did that yesterday. I went out, I got a bunch of bath bombs because there's a seasonal bath bomb that I really, really like and I'm obsessed with. It makes your water really nice blue. It makes you sparkly. Like my skin is sparkly now and it's so cute and I love it and it smells amazing. And because it's seasonal, it's obviously not going to be here forever. So I bought $50 worth of them. But I like it, and that's what matters. I bought myself something I like, and it's something seasonal. So it works for this like bucket list kind of list. Then I don't know if this counts as a bucket list, but we're calling it that anyway. Another thing that's great about this season, the pre-January season, is that you get to really just meet up with family and friends because everybody gets like Christmas time off, and there's like the New Year time. And so it's really nice to just like go back, see people that you haven't seen for a long time, chat it up, hang out, just have like a great time. So I look forward to that. It's just very calm and nice. And if you like parties, New Year's obviously is a thing. So there's a lot of New Year's parties going on. And so it's really just an excuse to like dress up and celebrate the coming year and then like making plans for the year. And of course, it can't be winter without ice skating. There are definitely a lot of ice skating places that are open now, indoor, outdoor. So get a pair of skates. If you don't know how to skate, it's the perfect time to learn. If you do know how to skate, it's the perfect time to go mingle on the ice rink and look at those like 2-year-old kids who are somehow better at ice skating than you, and then you're like, oh my goodness, why are these kids better than me? I feel super embarrassed. And then you fall on the ice and then they're all looking at you and you think they're going to laugh at you, but then they're not actually laughing at you because they don't care that you're there. Nobody cares you're there. Nobody even notices that you're there. Not based on a real story, of course. Hiking. This was something that I loved doing last year. My boyfriend's family, when we went to go visit them, they live kind of like in a remote area where you walk in the backyard and there's like this gigantic hiking trail, like a bunch of mountainy thingies. Well, not mountains, probably like hills, but it was so nice. So just like pack a nice bag, a thermos, so with some soup, some hot chocolate, some nice snacks, bundle up nice and warm and just go out and explore. See like how different everything looks or just discover new things when you're hiking. Such a blast. I love it. Cross-country skiing is another thing on the list. I've never done it, but I would love to do it. So I've actually put it on my winter bucket list because I want to try it out and see. This one is kind of related to the one that I mentioned a couple of ones ago, and that's because there's a lot of yummy treats. Why not take a shot at baking your own yummy treats? I'm going to try and make a cake this year, and it's going to be great. I'm going to make like a gingerbread house, like gingerbread cookies, like all the seasonal yums. I'm going to make them. Another really good thing about this is that the restaurants are like all decorated and pretty, and so the vibes when you go in there, like just you get to eat yummy food. Restaurants are fun to visit, and I don't know. I'm just like a big like food enjoyer and I love to try new things. So if it gives you an excuse to go out and try new restaurants, like wintertime is great because it's like an indoor activity where you don't have to deal with the snow and it warms you up. And of course, some people may fight me on this, but Hallmark movies, I love them. They're horrible. They're so bad. But I absolutely am such a sucker for those like Hallmark Christmas movies or those Netflix Christmas movies. They're predictable. They're ridiculous. The acting is not usually the best. Some of them are good though. Like I watched this one. What was it called? It was like about this pop star and she had to write a new Christmas song and then she ended up like meeting this like small town family and like fell in love with the dad and stuff. Like that one was actually really good. I really liked that one. I would not say I enjoyed the Lindsay Lohan new Christmas movie, but I still watch them because I just love them. I unironically love them. So that covers some of the amazing things and bucket list and like looking at winter in a new light in terms of like November, December time. But what about January? For me, January, February is the worst because all the glitz and glams of the winter season, they've run their course. Winter is like you just want it to be over at that point. And to be honest, January feels like 175 years long, and so does February despite being the shortest month. So that is why I have created a list from January and beyond until like the springtime comes. And so this is my list. Planning for the new year. So goal setting and like peaceful reflection is really great at this time of the year, and it kind of makes you excited and kind of takes you out of the, oh, like, ew, it's January and it's winter and I hate everything. It's, oh, okay, so now I have like this time to think about like, what do I want to do? Because you don't have to make your goals on January 1st. If you want to do them January 10th, time doesn't exist. So just make them that make sense for you. And yeah, I just really love having an excuse to make new goals. I do my quarterly goals for work, but making like personal goals is something that sometimes I forget to do. And so January, everybody remembers to do it. So you can remember to do it. This is also a great time to have some epic adventures. It's super, super cold out. So that means the outdoor ice places are usually like super icy. There's a lot of fun places you can explore, walk around. Even like little markets are out and stuff still. So there's that. And like even like getting hot apple cider when you're walking and it's really cold, or some nice warm soup. It's the little things that will make January bearable, I promise you. Another thing that's really great about that time of year of January and beyond is that you can really see the night sky. Like you can see the stars, obviously, and the moon and stuff like you always see, but you can also see like meteor showers. Sometimes you can see planets. And sometimes if you're like far enough away from the city, you can actually see parts of the Milky Way. And it's so much easier to see this kind of stuff in the winter. And I feel like a lot of people take that for granted unless they're like, they got a telescope or something. But yeah, anytime, like when I was like a kid, I would go on like my balcony roof thingy-mabobber, set up my telescope in the wintertime. And that was the only thing I look forward to in the winter. I was like, you know what? Like I get to use my telescope. So it's something I still look forward to, even though I don't have that telescope anymore. And then just kind of like taking things day by day, taking things slow. So like this relates into the enjoying Hallmark movies, but just like enjoying some TV and stuff. Like winter is a very kind of like hibernation focused season. So kind of like digging into that. Like there's nothing wrong with sitting down, curled up in a blanket with some hot chocolate or whatnot, and just like watching something while the snow trickles out of the sky. So you could watch Hallmark movies, but Christmas time is pretty much over. So you could just watch like some cozy movies. You could watch some TV shows, some comfort shows, like really anything that's like cozy is like perfect. And casual outings. You don't want to feel like you're trapped because it's like horrible and disgusting and gross outside. And so you can do casual outings like going to the movies, because that's a indoor activity. You could even do bowling if you like to bowl. You could go shopping again if you have any money like that you want to spend after the holidays. I know I'm usually broke by then because I have a massive family and everybody gets a gift. And so yeah, like whatever you like to do, try to think of some like indoor activities that you can do, because January and beyond is just way too cold and I don't want to talk about it. Another great idea is to go to the spa or get your like nails done. It's just so nice to feel pampered. And so you just like sit there and like there's like some spas that have like some like hot tub kind of things. So just imagine the vibes of that in the wintertime, especially January, February. Go to a spa, you get a massage. Like it's just like so exciting. Or even just go on a vacation. Like if you want to get away from the cold, just book a vacation somewhere nice and warm, but you have to plan it in advance because tickets are really expensive. And so yeah, like go somewhere nice and warm. Go to like Mexico or the Caribbean or I don't know, somewhere warm where that is not cold. This is also a great time of the year to do some reading. Like I said, everything's kind of slowed down around the winter time, so it feels like you have more time to read. And I found that yesterday it was like dark at like 4 p.m. and I was like, oh, okay, I'll do some reading. And then I did some reading. I'm like, oh, it's only like 6 or 7 now. I can continue to read. And then I just continue to read. Whereas in the summertime, it feels like you don't want to be wasting daylight. But in the wintertime, the daylight's already gone. So you feel less guilty about doing things inside. And so you feel in a way more productive. Like I read so much yesterday. It was amazing. I read a whole book. And then, of course, just being present in the moment, because you don't want to get stuck in the, oh, I just wish that it was summer now, or oh, I just wish that the spring would come. I find that kind of just makes you feel yucky about the winter time. And this is something that obviously I've not perfected because I'm still dreading the winter and it just started. But trying to look at it in a different light and being more present about like, oh yeah, like this is one of the many seasons that you get to experience. So there's a lot of cool things, pun intended, about the winter that I've just listed, like from November, December, January, and beyond. So trying to look at it in a new light, I think will be really, really helpful. And you can also get one of those like moth light things. Like they're like happy lights. I have one of those and you just like put it on your desk and you just shine a bright light on your face for like an hour. And for some reason, like it really works. I have no idea why, but it works. And then also vitamin D. Make sure you take vitamin D and you take it the exact same time every day. And that's going to help combat some of those winter blueses. But it's really all about the mindset of not dreading winter as much and think about, oh yeah, like wintertime is the only time where I can go crunch in the snow and make a snowman. Like, that's something you get to look forward to. It's not something you get to do in the summer. And you get to be all cozy and all of that. So that's pretty much the main message of this episode. So I hope you enjoyed. It is now time for everybody's favorite part of the show. That's right. It's the fun fact of the day. So today's fun fact is, dun-da-da, snow isn't white. Snow might appear white as it falls from the cloud or accumulates on the ground, but it's actually translucent. And that's because snow is comprised of like really tiny ice crystals, which are also translucent. So light is bent when passing through a translucent material. So when light hits a snowflake, it's bent and it scatters across like the visible light spectrum by like facets and imperfections in like each of these little crystals. And because of the shattering, it basically results in like a white light, similar to the way that like a pile of sugar or a pile of salt appears white, even though every single one of those crystals is clear. And I think that's just like mind blowing. So I hope you enjoyed the last episode of season 2. I'm really excited to see you next year. Haha. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun together, I'm sure. And yeah, so just check out my social media. Follow it if you haven't already. And I will see you in January 2023. Woo! So with that, I'm going to bid you a great rest of your morning, a great rest of your evening, a great rest of your night, a great rest of your apocalypse, and a great rest of your winter endeavors. I hope that you can see winter in a new light and know that it's easier said than done, but if you put the hard work in, I'm sure you'll see some spectacular results. And I will see you next year. Bye!